We are here live, more or less, for karaoke hour. Oh, no. This isn't karaoke. This
Wrong
is
show.
Good Sports. I'm Rick Rosen with Mark Anthony. This is Good Sports. Welcome, everybody. Saturday evening here in Vegas. And what the hell are we doing? Why are we not at the party?
We are at the party. Come
Saturday
on.
night, it's Saturday night in Vegas. Okay, well, I'll use my PBR official cup and have my soda and cheers.
And we're getting flooded out there, but otherwise,
Cocktail, yeah, absolutely. Cocktail service is not real good at the studio that I have here. But the good news is I get to have sex with the cocktail service damn near whenever I want. I live alone.
Sheep tell no lies.
She hell. Anyhow, the cup race is going on right now. Martin Truex Jr. Seems to be finding his way to the front in the one-car team, the 78, running very well there at Texas. Big rain delay, so there were some interesting things on. If you just leave your TV on, you can learn all kinds of stuff. Speaking of learning things, the NCAA seemed to learn real quickly from former San Francisco 49ers head coach Jim Harbaugh, who started out. His dad was a football coach, and he and his brother John both learned from him and made it through the college coaching ranks. Now, in the NFL, Harbaugh coached his team, the Niners, to the Super Bowl. Didn't win the thing, but got him there. Now he's the coach at Michigan. He took advantage of a loophole that allowed him to go into enemy territory and basically work combine type clinics for these kids and do his recruiting and whatever. They said it was giving him way too much of an advantage. So the NCAA, in what is amazingly speedy fashion, closed that loophole. To now the coaches can only go like 50 miles from their campuses and do those kinds of things, and so they've taken that advantage. Nonetheless, Harbaugh made hay while the sun was shining. He took advantage of it for the second year in a row, and has some recruits he would normally not have gotten. At least got into the homes and of those kids that he really would not have met from Michigan. It would have been a strange set of circumstances, and allowed him to kind of 21st century the rest of them. I don't know how long this rule will last, but anyway, he was going in as an assistant to someone else's coaching camps, football camps, and it was not actually one sponsored by the University of Michigan or whatever. And he was going in and just basically checking out what these guys could and couldn't do, and then being real friendly with the ones that he wanted to play with Michigan. So, they pay these guys to win. They don't pay them to be nice guys. They don't pay them to educate people. They say they do. But listen, you could be a head of cabbage, and if you can hit a ball or throw a ball or shoot a ball or whatever, they don't care. They really, honest to God, the ones that do care are so few and far between. Some of them get it. Our friend John Calipari, I think, gets it. I'm preparing these guys for the next level. And the next level for most of them is the NBA, or at least pro ball. So that's what they're doing. But anyway, the NCAA, and kind of a odd thing. It's notable simply because they did the right damn thing. It's notable because they did it quickly. They didn't have to have a.
I've been doing that lately.
Yeah, they moved real quickly on this, and I don't know. It's almost kind of like, Harbaugh is thought of almost as highly as Donald Trump is. They get that same amount of booing, not booze, booing, and they say, and the people that like them really like them, and the people that don't. So this could be an some people are going to think of this as an anti-Harbaugh thing. I think it was. Not so much that as it was just a can of worms the NCAA did not want open very long, because guys were seeing how effective it was. And so it was going to cost a lot of money. Like NASCAR eliminated the testing and everything. Not because the big teams couldn't afford it, because the little guys couldn't. And that's what I think we're talking about here. Bigger schools would have had even more of a big advantage. So, but spring is in the air. And I think, Mark, they need a new league. You know, we got the Canadian Football League and the National Football League and the Indoor Pro Football League. There's several football leagues around, youths and whatever. I think we need to have the PBFL.
And that would be what, prison?
The Police Blotter Football League. Because
there we go.
You have the miscreants on one side, and it's a rare day that goes by, Mark, that somebody is somewhere associated with big time football is not in season, is not getting in trouble, and these guys are dropping like flies. First off, Baylor early round draft prospect defensive end Sean Oakman was arrested for sexual assault. It's like when sacking goes wrong. And the draft is coming up very quickly. And this is going to be that $1 million arrest, which you're innocent until proven guilty. And here this guy is, it couldn't have been a worse timing. If it happens after the draft, after he signs, it's a whole different set of circumstances. But now, obviously, teams are going to want to avoid him like the plague. If nothing else, it's a PR headache to have to deal with somebody who's accused of sexual assault. You get the factors that are not big on that, which are pretty substantial. So you're putting out fires that you didn't really start. So it's easier just to not draft the guy. So that's going to cost him quite a bit. It does to me show the effect that somebody can have, Mark. What if he's totally exonerated, totally not guilty or whatever? You can't turn back the clock. And so he will drop like a rock, if drafted whatsoever, and he may or may not be guilty. It's not just that case of where I think you think of somebody bonking a babe in the head and dragging her into the woods and having his way with her. This was at some type of social setting, and from what I understand, drunk or the Bill Cosby effect on this woman, who somebody gave her some kind of substance and put her under. So anyway, but that's it. Go ahead.
But we had talked about this a couple months ago that this could be, the way the NFL is doing this zero tolerance policy where you are guilty until proven innocent. God forbid we have Inflategate now. Some team, some coaching assistant can find some bimbo off Craigslist and go, hey, there's our opposing linebacker. Go over there and see, and just say that he assaulted you, okay? And all of a sudden,
go run your eyeball into his elbow.
Yeah,
all it takes is one time. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the star quarterback is now going to miss a game that could be, could lead to the Super Bowl, or like this, you've got this really good prospect and somebody who doesn't like this prospect, or, they want someone else to be the top prospect. Again, you go to a trailer park, you drag a $5 bill through it and go, hey, go for it.
It's just a lot of power invested in the honor system, Mark, and that's what that is. I really mean it. He really did it. Well, it could be a vindictive girlfriend. There's just a lot of scenarios that it might be, and this kid's going to pay the price. He's not in the NFL yet, and there was no guarantee that he was going to make it. He's got good size. He come from a good program, et cetera, et cetera. So he had some things going for him that I think he would have at least gotten a chance to be drafted and make a run at an NFL career, and now that's going to be severely limited just by this allegation. And if he's guilty, he'll be sent to prison. But regardless, that's the lead off of this. Now here's the rundown for the rest of the well-stocked Police Blotter League. Jaguars defensive back Aaron Colvin was suspended for 4 games for substance abuse, and those substances are performance-enhancing drugs. Falcons corner Jalen Collins, 4 games for substance abuse. He was a second-round pick last year out of LSU and expected to be a big when your third round pick this year is expected to contribute some next year, and the following year he's expected to vie for a starting spot. I mean, that's the natural progression, crawl, walk, run. And so a second round draft pick was expected to be a pretty good participant in what the Falcons had going. Packers cornerback, must be all the little guys. Packers cornerback Dimitri Goodson, 4 games, performance-enhancing drugs. Titans receiver Andrew Terzilli, 4 games, performance-enhancing drugs. And the one thing about Dimitri Goodson from the Packers, I don't know if you remember this, he used to play basketball at Gonzaga. And in the 2009 NCAAs, which, by the way, this year's NCAA final was fantastic. He was a Gonzaga basketball player in 2009, and he shot the buzzer beater that beat Western Kentucky. Speaking of buzzer beaters, did you see the frickin' game?
Oh, my God.
What an ending.
Yeah, that was just
people are going to say, Mark, is this the greatest of all times? I don't know. Which movie is the greatest? I enjoy more than one movie. And I don't know if this was the greatest of all time. Certainly North Carolina State, when Jim Valvano was there and Lorenzo Charles gets the ball, bad shot underneath the basket that they've now morphed into, it was the greatest pass of all time. It was an off shot. And he grabs it and puts it in, and they beat Phi Slamma Jamma. That was a tremendous ending to a ball game. But, I mean, to have both shots, the one that finally ties it up for North Carolina, and I'm holding the tickets. I don't know if you can see I got 3 $5 parlays that day, and all of them have North Carolina and the over. Well, if it goes to overtime, the over is perfect because somebody has to score in overtime to win the game. Now, I'm giving up 2 with North Carolina. I have 3 tickets, all with a baseball game as the third team on there. I hit all 3 baseball games and lost North Carolina going into overtime to at least give me a shot. I would have had 2 out of 3 if the kid doesn't come back from Villanova and put the shot in that he does. So it was that roller coaster high-low. There's my bad beat story on North Carolina and my parlays. So, still rubbing some salve on the wounds there. A sad note, Mark, a kid that was running back at Kansas, he was a good-sized kid and just looked like a football player from start to finish. His name was Brandon Bourbon, and he played at Kansas a couple, 3 years, and then went to Washburn, which is the next division down, and a pretty good program there also. And something happened, Mark. They were not real specific about how he was found or whatever, but it sounds like it was something other than natural causes, Mark. He was 24 years old. His best friend at Kansas is now a linebacker with the Raiders, Ben Heaney, and but our thoughts and prayers out to Brandon Bourbon's family, and I think it's going to elicit some talk again. It's going to reignite that fire, fan the flames of the CTE, and how much closer to a kid's start of playing football that it becomes a problem with them. And there was a study last week I saw on the internet, Mark, on Yahoo, about a young man at Boston University doing a study finally about CTE and its effects on the kids that are playing Bantam League football or Youth League football or Pop Warner football or whatever you want to call it, football. And we may be seeing the target directly on football as not being affordable, not being worth the deaths, worth the problems. So anyway. There are some good things in sports also, including the Golden State Warriors, the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors, are looking to either tie or pass the Bulls for most wins in a season, and they amazingly enough, the team that is really getting no respect other than from the rest of the NBA is the San Antonio Spurs, who are going to host the Warriors in the last game in what could be the make or break to tie or beat the record. San Antonio is very good. They're very famous. Greg Popovich is very famous for resting his starters regardless. They rested the other night at Denver, and Denver knocked them off. He only started one starter, and that was Tim Duncan. The rest, the other four guys, got the night off. And so Popovich says that his Spurs are going to play completely. They're going to be out there. I'm not 100% convinced until I see that, because it's a game where they've already got their position in the playoffs locked up. It's meaningless. The Warriors already have their position locked up. They're going to have the home court advantage all the way through the playoffs. So they don't have, the only thing that is to be gained is this record. I think both teams would like to rest a few guys, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But it remains to be seen whether the Spurs play and try to just start the playoffs a game early by leaving a message for the Warriors. But it could very well be the preview of the Western Conference Finals. So anyway, a lot of people looking forward to that this coming week. Mark, baseball got going.
Yeah.
Certainly we did the Mets and the Cubs there at the Cashman Field. What'd you think? Being right down there with the big leaguers, how much fun was that, man?
That, I mean, that was like a perfect spring. That was just like the perfect baseball day. I mean, the weather,
absolutely,
the sunshine, the wind, the people, the teams, and okay, Cashman is 30 years old, but man, that's still a beautiful park. That's still a beautiful park.
You're right. So, we're not just talking slum city. It has always been and it's very well kept, Mark. They do such a great job in keeping it up. You would never know it's as old as it is. And, some of the infrastructure, I mean, they have plumbing problems and stuff like that, where if you own a 30-year-old house or a 40-year-old house, that's what you get with that too. So, and the elevator is slow enough to qualify for several pension plans if you get on there. It's really funny. The only slower elevator is out at the Speedway, of all things. Isn't that oxymoronic? By the way, I want to take a minute, Mark, and congratulate our friend, Mr. Julien Dugas. And if that voice if that name isn't familiar to you, it should be. Mr. Dugas is as important a player as there has been in sports in Las Vegas, in that he was the sports director for the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. So in all reality, not much happened without his at least tacit approval and his cooperation. He is a huge sports fan. He threw out the first ball ceremonially at the game between the Mets and the Cubs. And we just want to certainly offer our congratulations and thanks for all that he's done for all of us here in Las Vegas and sports in general. But what a very nice man, and that's Julien Dugas, formerly of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. And it was such a low key type thing. I mean, they had a helicopter land behind second base. They had the Cirque du Soleil Mystère performers were out there. The showgirls were there. We had county commissioners climbing on the performers from Cirque du Soleil. The only one of them had laid on their back and spun him in the air like the seals do with the ball. I was just waiting for that to happen. And then they had a couple of really good baseball games between two very good baseball teams, the Cubs and the Mets, who are going to, last year that was the National League Championship playoffs. Certainly wouldn't surprise me any to see them do that again, except Kyle Schwarber, the kid who was the catcher, who was such a big part of their run in the playoffs last year, already out for the season, and put him out in the outfield, and he ran into a teammate and tore up his knee. And the kid's 23 years old, and certainly he'll be able to rehab and do that, but to miss an entire season this early, April, and go down with a torn up knee from friendly fire, I guess it is, when you run into your teammate. So lack of communication somewhere. It's spring. It's early. The kid's young. He's not overly used to all the different things that come with that elite level of play in the outfield, and had a collision with somebody trying to, working hard, trying to hustle for a ball, and didn't see the other guy and crashed and burned. So anyway, okay, the Dodgers and the New York Yankees are both blacked out in their home parks. You can't buy enough baseball. Comcast, they got the stupidest things on. We're talking about Los Angeles and New York, and they've screwed up the TV thing. New York doesn't carry Yes anymore, which has the Yankees games. And whatever it is, here it is, Vince Scully's last year. You've got all these things, all this excitement, all this, oh my goodness, how close both were. And there's Alex Rodriguez, and he's going to retire, and you've got some really cool things that baseball is doing, and then they can't
get it
tripping up over their own feet. We'll settle for that. Yeah, I do not understand it, Mark. I think there's a lot of really head scratching things going on with baseball. You wonder how they keep afloat sometimes. They've lost a lot of the great athletes, which, when they integrated and let the blacks play, that infusion of talent was incredible and very noticeable. And now they are very, very much losing their color to either the Asian influence. There's quite a bit of South American, or at least Caribbean, with the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and that influence, and your Caucasian influence. And what they're really, that demographic that they're losing out on is the black athletes are being allowed opportunities in sports they weren't always before. Tiger Woods in golf, for example, Joe McGinley in hockey, for example. So some of those things are opening up and draining some of that talent away that had played baseball for as long as they've played baseball. And now they had the Negro Leagues. I don't know if you could have a Negro League now and populate it with major league talent as it was in the 40s and the 30s and the 40s. So, but baseball, everybody's still alive. They play so many games, 162 games. So, no matter what happens in April. Yes. I was waiting for you. Speaking of things that happen in April, a really odd thing happened yesterday, and I'm going to get you the results of. Tell me where I found this. It's early in the season, Mark, and you don't want to burn your pitching staff out, particularly in April. You can make up a game later on in the season from when you screw up in April. They just have significance because you know what you need to win and lose later on in the year. So they say you don't want to screw that costs you the pennant in September. Always kind of the way they go about that. But Ross Stripling is a pitcher for the Dodgers who had a no-hitter going into, I believe he'd gone at least 8 innings. And it came down to he got in a situation with a walk, and there was a man on base, and the coach, the manager of the Dodgers, pulled him, and which is almost unheard of. During Dave Roberts pulled him from the game with the game on the line, with the no-hitter still intact, and to look out for he pitched enough innings. And it looked like he was getting tired, and he talked it over with the catcher, and they pulled him. Well, the kid's dad, in a very classy mood, said thank you to the manager. Thanks for Dave Roberts for looking out for my kid's future. So anyway, it was kind of a heartwarming. I mean, it's a nice thing. It doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times guys put that one victory ahead of. So, it's nice. I owe it to the situation to say this is the way you're supposed to do things. You look out for the people that are doing it for you, and hopefully it'll come back for you. By the way, Golden State won another blow, beat Memphis 100-99 to keep their chances at the record intact. So yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies put up a hell of a fight, but 1 point to Golden State. And just for the rest of the scoreboard, Atlanta knocked off Boston 118-107, and Phoenix over the New Orleans Pelicans unibrow 121-1. So yeah, some conjecture about
where the hell did they come up with that name for a team, Pelicans? God,
well, they were the Jazz. They were the New Orleans Jazz. Okay, well then they moved. Then the franchise moved to Utah, and now they're the Utah Jazz, which makes no sense whatsoever. So the Jazz was already taken, which is the natural, but they didn't get that. So they said, well, Pelicans, they're around. So as a Pelican is, I mean, you have lions and tigers and bears and pelicans. Wait a minute. Which one of these doesn't belong in this rhyme? So, it's the same man that owns the Mr. Benson that owns the Saints owns the Pelicans, I believe. And Saints and Pelicans, they're both very, very soft, warm, fuzzy, cuddly things that you think of. The Saints go marching in. Fly and
people mistake them throw some sardines on the court or something.
Yeah. By the way, Ryan Clady was a big fixture in Denver at tackle, and this not too early on in the year, they picked up a couple of free agents, and the Jets picked up Ryan Clady after DeBrickashaw first. So they replaced one guy who was incredibly durable. I don't think Brick a play. He sat out a single play with an injury in his 10-year career, and they picked up Ryan Clady, and that's going to clear money for both teams, and so that's probably a cool thing. The repercussions every time now when a team wins the Super Bowl with all the maneuvering that they've got with the salary things, Mark, that did not used to. It really does break up a successful team very quickly, and some guys have to be let go that still have quite a bit of tread on their tires, but they go to somewhere else because of the money issues, and just how it can be the exact same amount of money as what it counts this year and last year, and bonuses and money and blah blah blah. So it's you really have to be a Wharton School, Harvard, or Yale, or some really classy business place to understand all the machinations of contracts anymore. Used to be, well, he got last year, so let's pay him damn near what everybody else gets that had 200 tackles. Now it's not that way. He has 200 tackles, but he was born in May, and his father lived next door to it's a number of things that they have, and how they can write these things up. So, by the way, Mark, you and I talked about this a few weeks ago about the Raiders coming here, and I told you I thought that was a wonderful thing as a Raiders fan, how cool that would be, and how nonsense it was to even think that it was remotely possible. After further review, it's remotely possible. It's moving that direction, and not incredibly, but signs are that it's more serious than what I had at first thought. And Mark Davis has come out here, and they've looked over the Super Bowl, and it seats under 40,000 people. But the Raiders are talking about playing a preseason game here and seeing what that would be. I'm telling you what, if they play an NFL game in Las Vegas, it will make the Super Bowl look like a convention of Jehovah's Witnesses. The party will be on particulars. Can you imagine? I just want to take photos and be a bail bondsman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rick is
So
going
they may
for
seriously
the.
play.
Rick is on board. Yes, yes.
Oh, I'll be there
Ow.
when they make the announcement. Me and my camera will just camp out. Just throw me some food every once in a while. Oh,
Hey,
if ever there's a place that's Raiders town other than Oakland, it's Vegas.
At the last minute, I got media creds to the opening of the arena, which was kind of.
Yes.
They literally gave us, I would say we spent a grand total of maybe 5 minutes inside the arena. Okay, that was it. The media. They went,
this was media day.
Back out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, when I was waiting to get the media cred, which they didn't have, which anyway, there were some sports writers standing behind me, because the fight, the what is it, the Pacquiao fight? Yeah. And they were talking about it, and from what's going on is they're going to push it as a university necessity, that they have to build it for the university, and that's how they're going to,
absolutely,
which is like finally the heavens are starting to open up, or whatever. People are finally starting to get a clue. So,
well, Mark, we talked. We need a stadium. We do not need a damn soccer stadium. We need a stadium. We do not need a soccer team. We need a stadium. Everything else will fall into place. Give UNLV a stadium. Get some street cred with that football program. They've got a guy that's good at recruiting. He was good at recruiting when it wasn't cool. He's going to be just as good at recruiting. Beard, certainly with the basketball team, certainly seems to like he knows how to at least do that part. I don't know that they play an exciting brand of basketball, but if they win, that will switch a lot of people over to, that was a good game. I do enjoy watching the little fellows play defense. So whatever it is, as long as they win the games, they'll be all right. But a lot of things will fall into place. On an NFL team, public money spent bring an NFL team here into an arena that will host a lot of other things here in Vegas. Not all arenas and places where they play football have that possibility, whether it's in Lambeau Field. I don't think there's a lot of convention business at Lambeau. There's a lot of can be done at the call about here in Vegas. So I think spending public money, that money back many times over, Mark. With the soccer team, I don't think it was going to bring people in from other places. With the football team, it will.
But it was interesting because two of the guys in sports were from, one was from here, one was from Reno. Okay, so they got the Nevada edge. 3 of the other guys were from California, and one specifically was from LA, and I don't ask me who he was because I didn't ask, but they think with the Raiders, or just having the NFL there coming here, the financing is probably going to end up a little right around 50-50, public versus private, which is not what it is now, but from what their sources in California said, that it's going to be totally different.
It's just details, Mark. This is said so many times before. Casinos, they're high rollers in so many times. People can only come in because they lose. They don't bring the high rollers in to win. They bring them in to lose. So you can only lose so much. Bill Gates could only gamble till he was like 148. But for other people, there are limits to what they can lose. And so when they come in, they have to do these things. 8 or 10 home games of an NFL make a hell of a lot than the games that you have with basketball, or the 60-some games that you have with hockey home games, and the 80s football fits into it. You can bring the football crowd in 8 or 10 times. The high rollers make nice, take them to the casino afterwards, have a day before. There's only one activity. It's not like NASCAR when there's day after day after one thing. And if they do a Rebels game on Saturday and a Raiders game on Sunday, you know, you can back to back and really have a big event. And I think it's the thing that makes sense to me, Mark. And I would be spending public funding on a football stadium, whether I'm a Raiders fan or not. And I don't care if they bring in the Redskins. I mean, I would like to, but it does not matter what team would come in. Team would be a game changer here in Las Vegas.
All right. Cool. All right, let's wrap it up here, guys.
Are we done?
We're done.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
All right. Congratulations to the Villanova Wildcats. They did a huge job in containing North Carolina and just keeping their and making plays when they needed to. North Carolina got behind. They were their own worst enemy, and they tied the game up. It was like watching Ali Frazier. I don't know. There's a lot of comparable things in other sports, but I've never seen an NCAA, certainly championship, where it was just back and forth, slam, slam, slam. And, you know, and congratulations to and that group. North Carolina's got nothing to hang their heads about. They did everything except win the game. And so good weekend sports, Mark. Yeah, they did give it their best. So, all right, we got some things. Things going. Week we're headed into NBA playoffs, the NHL. No Canadian-based teams in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoffs. Let me say that again. There are no Canadian-based teams that made the Stanley this year, out of 16 teams in the NHL. That will not do. The only time in anybody's lifetime that I think that they will do something. Yeah, something will come about from that. So, anyway, any parting shots here, buddy?
Baseball, loved it. I got to go back.
What did you think of the? By the way, before I forgot to give the shout out, and we've got to AV Eyewear, AV the letter I, AV Eyewear. I took some of the most amazing video with the AV Eyewear glasses that our friend Dan Shannon had provided at the baseball game, Mark. You know, we saw the hit to the ball. Well, it rolls damn near to the outfield wall. You can see the ball. I'm 30, 35 feet behind home plate, and you can watch the ball leave the batter's hands. You can see the spin on those glasses and those video glasses, awesome. And they were wonderful. We like it.
Was awesome.
Eyewear. And the sound is incredible too. I just can't imagine what the rest of over just to view what technology is going to happen in the next few years. So
you have to try those at Hustler or one of those the strip clubs you're not kicked out of. Okay,
there's a few. let me look. I'll see if what the brace where I'm allowed to go. You know, there's some places that set it off. So okay, speaking of setting it off, we're going to set off into the sunset here, and folks listening and being participants with us, they can find us on Facebook, Mark, YouTube, where else? Twitter. We have Sneeze a lot,
all the usual.
Is that even a thing? Well, by the way, I invented a new game. Are you aware of that?
Do I want to know? Really?
Sadistic bingo. Are you interested in the details at all?
Normally,
they get a whole bunch of people in. They give them bingo cards, and every time some asshole yells bingo, so that's half the sadistic part. The other part is, even if you get bingo, there's all yelling bingo every number, so nobody ever comes to one. It's sadistic bingo. We'll get a when we get it going.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, I guess that'll about wrap it up for all of us here at Good listening and joining in with us. And be sure to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the social media. And we enjoy all your input and look forward to talking to you again next week right here on Good Sports. For Mark Anthony, I'm Rick Rosen. See you again. Stay safe. Bye-bye.